Hello y'all and welcome to Bourgeoisie Is Me YouTube channel. And today I am a part of a video hop. I am so honored y'all. The theme of this video hop is favorite products. I actually love all the products that I put into my cards, but for this video hop I had to pick out a few. The one thing that I love most to craft with are subscription boxes or card kits. The one I'm using for this video is actually going to be from Simon Says Stamp, but there are other companies that do subscription boxes or card kits. Some of my favorites are Queen & Company, Hero Arts, Echo Park, and Pink & Main. I will also list the other products that I'm going to use in this video in the description box. Okay y'all, so let's get started. For this first card, I am taking pieces from the Simon Says Stamp January subscription box. With that kit, it came with a large piece of silver glitter paper, which I actually cut down as a frame because this card I'm actually going to use and make a shaker card. They also had two-sided 6x6 pieces of cardstock, which I'm actually going to use for the background. I actually cut down my card to an A2 card with some cardstock that I actually had in my inventory. I'm also going to use a free gift that I got from Ink Road Stamps, which are some translucent sequins. This was also a die set that came with the kit. And I also used the silver 6x6 piece of cardstock to actually make this die. And because I'm making a shaker card, I'm actually going to use some acetate. This acetate just came from a bag that I actually got a stamp in. So y'all make sure y'all don't throw anything away because I very seldom buy acetate because I can just kind of pop this on this card and make shaker cards. So the first thing that I want to do is cut this acetate down a little bit. And I just kind of cut it down a little bit smaller than the piece that I have. So I'm going to actually cut around the border of the frame, and then I'm going to probably cut it down a little bit more because I don't want to cut it down too small first because then I won't be able to go back. So I'm just going to put it back here and make sure that it is going to be big enough. So I'm going to cut it down just a little bit more, just to make sure that I have enough to cover, but not too much. I'm going to use some adhesive that I got from scrapbook.com, and this is just clear double-sided adhesive roll, and it's really strong. So once you put this down, you are not going to be able to put it back up, so I just want to warn you. And it's easy to tear, so no scissors are needed. And I'm also going to put some anti-static on the acetate because I don't want all the sequins and stuff to actually stick to the acetate. So I've taken all of the adhesive off, and now I'm going to put down my acetate. And this is going to be the front, well, this right here is the back side, but I'm making the front side of the actual shaker window. I'm also going to use a little bit of my anti-static because I really don't want the shaker pieces to actually stick to it. And I'm also going to put it a little bit here as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually put some of the shaker bits in here. Now I got this from Queen & Company, and these are actually different colors of snowflakes. So I'm going to use that in here, as well as the pearlescent sequin pieces. So I have all my shaker bits in here, and I kind of put mine in the middle, just so I make sure that I don't have it on the outside of this shaker part. So I just want to make sure that they're all situated in here. And I also like to try to make sure that they're all flat. Sometimes when you just have flat pieces and they sit on top of each other, sometimes it can be problematic for the shaker bits to move around, especially if you don't have a lot of adhesive on the back. So here I am going to use the 3M Scotch indoor mounting tape, and I have like the huge roll, but I'm actually using this little small piece because I actually got this from someone. So I'm going to use this before I bust out my big one. So now that I've applied all of the adhesive tape to the back of this, I'm going to pull back the release paper. And I'm going to actually place this on top of the shaker bit card piece. So now I have my shaker piece here, and it is shaking up a storm. So I love that. Then I'm going to put some adhesive back here, and I'm going to use some Ranger multi-medium matte glue on the back of this. And for y'all that have been watching my my YouTube channel, that is a new product to me, and I am enjoying it because I like the fact that when you put it on, when you open it up to use it, it's not clogging. I don't have to do a lot of prep or anything for it. So I am enjoying that multimedia matte by Ranger. So right here, I've already adhered it to the card base. I have all my wonderful shaker pieces that are moving freely, so I like that. And I'm actually going to take the die that I actually got with the Simon Says stamp January subscription, and I am going to put that on the bottom of the acetate piece. Now I use the sticker maker from Xyron, and there's other ways that you can adhere pieces to pieces that have the intricate parts. There's definitely different products that you can use. So I'm going to place that here, just to kind of give some dimension on top. And then I am done here. I'm actually not going to put a sentiment on the front. I typically do, but I feel like this card has so much going on in here. I don't want to put another sentiment in here. When I send it to someone, I'm probably going to put something inside. And with the stamp set this month, you have all these great stamps that came with it and these cute little sentiments. So I definitely have some things to choose from. But for right now, for this card, I'm just going to leave it right here with no sentiment here because, again, it has a lot of bling. It has a lot of shaker pieces, and I kind of want to leave it like that. So that is the first card. So with this next card, I am going to do another shaker card, but this is going to be a shaker card that actually resembles a snow globe. On this card, I'm going to start with the sentiment first, and I'm getting it from the stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, their January subscription kit, and I'm going to use the stamp that says "Snow One Like You," and I used one of these 6x6 pieces of cardstock that pretty much looks like a lot of silver and glitter, and I love that. And what also came with the kit was some distress mica flakes, which I will actually use as the shaker pieces in this card. So I cut a piece of this 6x6, and I also added some Spectrum Noir sparkle pen on here just to give it a little bit of glitter when I actually do the sentiment. I also cut out a circle with a die that I had in my set, and I cut it out on some silver cardstock. I really don't even know where I got this from, but this is what I'm going to use for the shaker front. I'm actually using Crafter's Companion. I think it's called a rocker stamp set. Like an acrylic block rather. And I'm using this. I do have stamping positioning tools, but for a piece that's so small, I just either use an acrylic block or I use this one. I actually like this because it does have a curvature here. So you can kind of just rock it on to make sure that you get full coverage. So like what I did with the first stamp, the first card that I did, I'm going to use the anti-static here just to make sure that the pieces do not stick to the actually acrylic part. I'm also going to cut out another piece of acrylic, and I used this from just a bag that I had that came with some stamps. Because these sides are so narrow, I went ahead and put the tape back there already so I won't have any problems when I actually put that on. And again, I'm just cutting a little bit smaller than the actual shaker window. Because it doesn't have to cover the whole cardstock, it just needs to cover that circle piece. Just the window part. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to cover it and just be able to put some adhesive on it. Now for this card, I actually used adhesive to do this, but if you have maybe a heavier acetate, you can possibly use glue or whatever type of adhesive you think will work for you. But for me, I'm actually using the adhesive strips off of a roll. Some people like the gun, some people like to use liquid glue, but for me, I'm actually going to use this type of adhesive to adhere the acetate. So now I've adhered the acetate to the front of the card, and now I'm going to use the 3M tape to actually put around here to make the actual shaker barrier so your shaker bits don't go everywhere. So now I put all the adhesive on the back of the shaker part. Make sure that you press down this foam tape, because I know I've done projects before and I just kind of put them on there just to make sure that I have the full coverage. And some of the pieces I may have just kind of jotted down real quick and they're not really adhered to the paper. Y'all do not want that problem. So I'm going to make sure that I have all these pieces down here really good. And again, I'm going to put on my anti-static because I hate when the shaker bits stick. So I just want to make sure that I have that on there. Now y'all, this again is the Distress Mica Flakes. I have never used this before, so this is for sure a treat for me. So I hope that it is going to be as gorgeous as I think it is, and I already know that it is. And if y'all watch any of my previous videos, I can be a little stingy with my shaker pieces, so I want to make sure that I want to make sure this time that I put a lot in there. So okay, so I have a lot of pieces in there, I think. And I want to put a little bit of color in there too. So I'm going to put just a small small little pinch from Little Things paint box just to give it some color in this snow globe card. So I've taken all of the adhesive off the back and I'm going to place it on top of this card. So now we have this right here. Oh, I love it. There's some nice movement. Great movement. Now right here when I did the acetate, I have some left over here. So just like y'all parents used to say, you know, make sure better too much than not enough. So all I'm going to do is just kind of trim some of that off. And then we are easy peasy. So it's just as good as gold now. And now I'm going to adhere this to the back of this card base. And I'm going to put this little sentiment at the bottom. So y'all, when I was doing this card, I was like, okay, I love it, but it just ain't enough. I just don't want to just put this sentiment on there. So before I put it on the base, I said, let me go ahead and pop it up a little bit because you know I don't like my one-dimensional cards. So I'm going to put this down here because I want to give it some type of dimension just to give a little bit of to it. I'm going to pop that up a little bit. Make sure that that is centered, and I am going to use this snowflake that I got from the stamp set as well, the subscription as well, and I'm going to put that in the corner too because I just had to put a little bit more on this card just to kind of put some more onto it. And I'm going to adhere this to the back of this, and I'm going to use, instead of using the multimedia, I am going to use my scrapbook.com adhesive. So now that I've taken all the adhesive off, I'm going to line this up on this card base, and now we have a Snow One Like You shaker card. So I have one more card for y'all. So the next card I'm going to do is going to be using the Calen, and this is a multi-layered die set, and this is from Birch Press. This die, I have a stamp set and a die set that I really like from Ink Rolls, and this one is a really good and very interesting, intricate die set. This is one of my favorites as well. With this die set, you actually layer things on top of it. And when you die cut these, this is just my recommendation because I went through this like a million times before I did this video. It's very intricate, as you can see. So a lot of people now have the automatic die set machines. Like I have like the Gemini and the Empress, and I recommend when you do this just to make sure that your actual shims or your sheets are straight or new, because what I found out, because these are so intricate, if they're a little bit warped, it won't cut the pieces out completely. So you definitely want to make sure that you're using probably some new plates or shims when you do it, because again, it's going to be difficult to get some of those small pieces out. And with most dies, you might can kind of work with it, maybe cut it manually, but with these you just can't. So that's just like one of my little tips for y'all. But every time I've given out this card, I have gotten glowing thank yous, how pretty it is, how different it is, and it's a very, very beautiful die set. So when I do them, I already mark mine from I usually mark mine And I put this down because I know this is the C and this is the base. So I usually make the base the darkest and I lighten it up to the top. And I try to stick within the same color family. Now I'm telling y'all this, and y'all probably see another video and I got like all these crazy colors. But when I've done them historically, I've done them in actual color families. Also with this set, on this video, I'm actually using a liquid adhesive, and this is by Nuvo, and it's a glue pen. I'm using this just because I just got this, and I got this in a kit, so I actually wanted to use it. So I want to use some of my items that I just got that I actually like, because I've not used this before, but I used it probably 2 or 3 times previously, so I really, really like this glue pen, because sometimes, like for these type of dyes, unless you do an adhesive background, you're not going to be able to use tape with this. So I like that I actually use this glue pen. I really do enjoy using it when I can. So I've already put down the base piece here, and now I'm putting on the second layer here. And if y'all haven't seen this dye in action, it is going to blow your mind, because it is such a innovative dye. So innovative. And they line up perfectly. So I'm going to put it to side so I can have some of that glue here before I put on the next piece. So I'm putting something heavy on it. And then the next piece is going to be a silver piece that I'm going to put on top to make it pop, y'all. Now, as that's setting a little bit, I'm going to go over another thing that I like to use too. So we're doing our favorite things. And again, I like my subscription boxes. I love shaker cards. I like the layered die sets. And I also like shadow dies. Now, I'm a little new to shadow dies, and I know other people have been using them like gangbusters, but I'm just not all that familiar with shadow dies. So I'm going to use a shadow die that I got from Simon Says Stamp, and it is called Good Vibes, and that I am all about that. And this is what the die looks like with the shadow piece. So previously, and I did this when I first got the die, I made this piece, and I love this. So with this piece, I actually cut out some regular craft cardstock, and I had some glitter cardstock that I used on top. And then I put some glossy accents on it just to kind of make it pop. So that is a previous one that I did. And for this one, I'm using some blues. Because if y'all watch any of my previous videos, I'm a beach girl, so a lot of my things are going to be blues and like sea greens and things like that. So again, this card is going to be blue, just like all the other ones I did today. So let me go ahead and add the last layer for this card. Look how beautiful this turned out. Y'all was not even ready for this, y'all. Y'all was not even ready for this. That is so gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is, I also did the Good Vibes shadow die on this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some foam tape, and I am going to pop that up so that I can have a little bit higher than the actual design. Now previously when I used the foam tape, I used the 3M that came in like pretty much a strip, like a rectangle. Because this actual sentiment here was much more curvy, I used circular foam dots. And I just felt that that was just an easier choice, just because the way the die is constructed, because it has like a lot of curves to it. And I felt that that would have been a little bit better to actually maneuver on the card because of the curvatures. So I did want to let y'all know that. So now I'm going to put some of this scrapbook.com adhesive strips on the back of this. And again, you can definitely use glue, any type of adhesive for this. I just am a tape girl. I like these little small strips. And I know that it does kind of take longer, but I think it's just what you're comfortable using and doing. When it comes to adhesive like tape runners, they hate me. I'm always pulling something off, it's getting snagged. But a lot of people love them, and they work. They're just not so much Dewan friendly. So I prefer to use this type of adhesive when I'm trying to put like a quick card together. So now I'm going to put this last piece on this card, on the card base. And here we are. Now, how pretty is that? So these are the cards that I made for this video hop. We have a traditional shaker card. And again, I chose not to put a sentiment on there because I felt it had a lot going on here. I put a sentiment inside. Then we have our snow globe, our circular shaker card here. And then we have our last one here. I'm shaking it like it's a shaker card, y'all. And this is our good vibes card here. So again, I hope that y'all enjoy the rest of the video hop. And this is for Teen Tiny. And these are for new crafters that are just starting their YouTube and Instagram and social media journey. So I really appreciate the comments that you have. I always appreciate new subscribers because I love doing these videos. So I hope y'all enjoy watching them as much as I enjoy doing them. Again, please subscribe and always stay bougie, my friends.